My dance for you audio only people was middle fingers this time because I'm coming in hot, guys. Where's that blood pressure metric that needs to be on the screen?
180, 190. I got my Kalshi bets in.
You're low. Good God. The technology, I love it and I hate it at the same time. This is 2 weeks in a row where our recording platform is not cooperating, but we're going to roll anyways. I dropped the resolution down to, because I don't know anything, I said 780 pixels. I think it's actually 720. I don't know, but we're back. Like, this is 1990 shit. The resolution.
That's how you know
is
you're
ridiculous. Angry. I know. And you can tell because my face gets red. Anyways, guys, episode 97 of UnHacked. We are coming in hot. We're coming in strong. We are wrapping up our 12-week, well, it's only been 11, so we've got a little surprise on next week, mini series on all things AI, including security. Let's do some quick introductions. I'm Justin Shelley, CEO of Phoenix IT Advisors, and my business is really about helping people make money. AI makes that so much easier than it did, and then protect that money from the bad guys, all of them. Mario, you've worn off on me. You've worn me down.
It only took 97 episodes.
I know. We protect you from the bad guys. We protect you from the other bad guy, the government, and then we protect you from the other bad guy, the attorneys, class action lawsuits. That's what we're all about, guys. Today, I'm not going to lie. As I was prepping for today's episode, I just hit my microphone. I'm just like, what I built, what I'm about to talk through on today's. You guys all presented your things. What I present today kind of is the podcast in a nutshell. So I'm pretty excited about this. More to come. Let's finish with the introductions. Mario, then Josh. We're going bald to full hair. Do your introductions. I'm going to try to shut up for a second.
No problem. Mario Zaki, CEO of Mastech IT, located in New Jersey. We help small to medium-sized businesses stay safe, sleep better at night, knowing that their businesses will be there, helping them with their AI journey, helping them be a little more sufficient in the AI saving money world that we all need to live in, and just automate whatever we can.
Josh, what do you got?
Awesome. I'm Joshua Holloway, the CEO for 7th EI Technologies out of the Sacramento area. And we're an MSP that helps companies that primarily focus on compliance or their businesses require compliances for them to operate. And we help them integrate those so that their businesses can continue to run without so much restrictions, and technology keeps them up and running. And also including AI. Now, I think we have one more to add to the list after a little known hack, but we are also now starting to help protect businesses from the AI that's deciding that it wants to hack.
It's crazy. It's a world. Don't get ahead of us too far yet.
Justin, I want to interrupt you for a second.
Okay.
I think next week's episode, we should add another surprise, and I think Josh should shave his head on the podcast and go bald.
Why would I do that?
Because it's like we're in a club, like you need to do it. It's in. Don't you know hair is out now?
I mean, if you can get Brian to do it, maybe we'll all do it.
We've threatened him. He has not come along to the dark side yet, but we do threaten him on occasion.
Nice.
But you're a little more reasonable than Brian, so I think we can do it.
I'm down to party.
Oh, I just heard get him drunk enough, he'll shave his head. Challenge accepted. Let's talk for a second, guys, about pop quizzes and what's different with Justin Studio. We actually had somebody get it right. I did not think anybody was going to get this right. It was a very subtle change in my studio. All I did is I switched my microphone to the other side. The boom now comes off to my right. It used to come off to my left because I set up all these building AI dashboards, right, of all my metrics. There was one over here and my stupid microphone was in the way, so I moved it. So somebody got it right. Somebody won the money. I didn't get their permission to give a name yet, so I'm not going to announce a name, but we'll start doing that. We'll have a prize we give away every week.
At least the first name.
Huh? The first name's Bob, but that's all I can say. Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of okay, Bob. Hey, Bob. Anybody know what that's from? In the We don't have any. Oh my God, I'm blank. True Methods people here, do we? See, now I'm getting nerdy, and I'm getting to where our audience, our intended audience, anyways, has no idea what I'm talking about. So we're gonna move on. This week, what's different in the studio? It's another very subtle change, but if you want $100, a little gift card, go on to unhackmybusiness.com. Pick today's episode. You have to go to the right episode and then do message hosts. And I think that's what it's called. Anyways, tell me what's different on the studio. See if you can win $100. Guys,
First person to get it right.
Pop quiz for you, Josh, and you, Mario. I gave you a little bit of homework, but I didn't specifically prep you for this question. Can AI, in fact, go to jail?
Oh, no.
Can
No.
AI, in fact, commit a felony?
Yes.
Yes.
Depending
It
on the type of felony.
It did. That's today's headline. AI committed a felony. Who do we prosecute? I gave you guys the term to Google search or AI search or whatever, and I'm going to punt this over to you. What happened? What's the big news today? Go fight for it. Tell the story,
Who you pumped it
guys.
to?
I don't know.
He's talking
You
to
guys
both of us. So
duke it out.
basically, so AI, so OpenAI was testing one of their newer models, the 5.6 Sol, with a newer Frontier model.
I was going to say they gave it a friend.
Yeah, they gave it a friend. So now it's a phone a friend, and they were doing it in a test environment that was air gapped to the point that it had a very strict proxy controlled access to only download repositories that it needed. And it was given a task, and the task that it needed to accomplish was to answer a whole bunch of questions and get information back on this test. And what it decided to do was, instead of taking all the math and doing all the different maze questions and things like that, it probed its internal network. It created a whole bunch of issues inside and saw how the error messages were coming back, and it formulated a method to push through the proxy and get outside of it. And then once it pushed through, it was able to browse the internet and determine where it had to find its answer, which happened to be Hugging Face company that is like the GitHub for all LLMs, right? It's where LLMs have their repositories, their data. So it's a very large corporation, and they hacked it. And in a weekend, this AI attacked their servers over 17,000 times. And they saw that they were being attacked and being hacked, and they went up against it to try and stop it. And I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but they took what they found, and I'm wondering if Mario will touch on this one or not, but they took what they found, put it in their usable LLM to figure out what the problem was and analyze all the log data, and the AI refused to give them an answer. Shut it down.
We're not going to help you get unhacked because you might be hacking yourself.
Right. And it has guardrails. Right. So what they did is they went and got an open model, GLM 5.2. They put it in their own testing area, and they removed the guardrails and ran all that information and tried to figure it out. And that is when they got the answer of what had happened. Mario, is there anything you want to add to that one? I don't want to give it all away.
No, that's pretty much spot on. The thing is, the article that I read is that it lies. It lied about what way it was going around it, and the system was literally put into like a sandbox environment. It was supposed to have been locked down where it can't go out, and it just it refused on accepting, not being able to be successful. It just kept going. Now
whatever it took.
Yeah, they did let it, kind of like do its thing, and once they saw it just go out, it was crazy. But what's scary is that it does, even with these guardrails, it just sits there and keeps generating, changing, and then kind of forgetting the beginning part, and we all struggle with this with AI, is that, the longer you're using it, it's forgetting the earlier things that it was working on. So that's pretty much what happened here. It's like, okay, well, it just kept going, and then it's like, okay, I found a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah, and
it was
I
fun
think
that
the fact that they removed the guardrails because
Yeah.
they wanted to see what would happen. And they
Right.
definitely saw what happened. You know, it got out of the cage. I mean, you think about it, it's like the raptors in Jurassic Park, right? They're just punching up against the fence until they find a weakness and they get through. This is what that
Yeah.
AI did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. You know, you take the guardrails off to test it. Sure. They thought they had it in Mario. You use the term sandbox just to clarify for the audience. That's an environment that is supposed to be completely contained where you can do no bad.
Right.
Banks use it to run sample financial transactions that don't actually hit somebody's account, but they can test the payment processing system end to end. Just stuff like that. It's a self-contained environment that can't get out and do any real damage in the real world, but it did. One lesson learned there is it was a single point of failure that allowed it through. You know, once it breached that proxy server, that's all it needed. Then it had full internet access. So lesson there, layers. You know, we talk about layers a lot in security. Yeah, the guardrails thing though, that was interesting. That the breached company was stopped in their attempt to prevent further breaching because their own guardrails wouldn't let them. Kind of this question of guardrails. I don't know. It's a weird. We've been saying like so many episodes, we'll say it's the wild, wild west. You know, we just don't know. Everything's changing. Everything's new. Here we go again.
Well, I think is now I question these guardrails. Like they obviously seem like a soft guardrail because, you know, a few weeks ago when Anthropic released Fable 5, it's a more guardrailed Mythos. Is that the name of it? Mythos?
Yeah. Mythos.
Yeah. Mythos. So they have the super agent that they've put guardrails on and called it Fable 5, but within I think a day of releasing it or 2 days of releasing it, people were able to figure out how to remove the guardrails, and then that's when the government forced them to completely shut it down because I believe it hacked a government facility.
It was the NSA or the CIA, right?
Something like that. Yeah, one of them.
Yeah.
So
one of the three agencies.
Yeah, I feel like these guardrails probably seem like they're temporary until somebody or even itself figures out how to drop it.
Well, it was interesting when I tried to use Fable 5 to research this, you know, because I wanted the best one. I wanted like cite your sources, think through this. Don't just give me what the news is showing, because that's all we really get, right? Is the media's spin on this stuff. We don't, and I want to be clear, we don't know what happened. We know what Anthropic and Huggy Smiley Face, whatever that other one is, which is a dumb name. I had never heard of them before today.
Face Hugger?
Yeah. We only know what they're telling us.
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but we only know what they're telling us. We don't really know what happened. Is this a PR spin from them? Probably. Every outlet, every media outlet's going to put their own spin on it. I don't know. So I'm using Fable 5, and I'm like, get the real story as much as you can. And you know what happened? Fable 5 shut itself down. Like, oh, you hit a guardrail. We're going to drop you down to Opus. I don't know.
That's
like,
weird.
What the hell? Because I'm researching security. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyways, so anything else on this? Because we're going to move on unless you guys have something else on this little AI breach.
Well, I know we were talking about guardrails, and we do have the ability as users to download, as long as we have the hardware capability, to download LLMs and take the guardrails off of like GLM 5.2. I can download it through another service. Don't want to name names, right? I can load it up on a server, run it. I can take off the guardrails, and I can essentially kind of do whatever I want. I don't have the compute power that, say, OpenAI does, and the power that they had. So mine would be a lot slower. Probably won't be able to do.
You're not doing tens of thousands of simultaneous.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to throw $100 million equipment at it, right? That's just not going to happen. But what I think it proves is there's two things that come out of it. One, we're getting to a point that just anybody can do this. Yeah. And it took Huggerface downloading, just like I said, GLM 5.2, taking off the guardrails just to look at this. It also proves that when somebody is a threat actor and they're trying to attack a network, they're going to take off the guardrails and anything can happen. But anybody who wants to be like a white hat hacker or protect a network, we're going to use systems like Facehugger did, right, that have those guardrails in place. And now it's like, is our frontline have to be guardrails off to detract from the attacks that are most likely like guardrails coming off? And I think the other thing is it's also proved that our cybersecurity systems are no longer capable. I want to be careful how I say this. Usually we do pen testing and vulnerability scans weekly, periodically. We don't do it all the time. AI makes you have to do it all the time because we need to gather as much data as we can in a very short period of time. Think about that. 2 days, 17,000 hits against a server or against a firewall to try and find a way through, right? If you do a weekly vulnerability scan or a monthly vulnerability scan, you're so far behind on what took place. You don't have that information. So now it's like we have to rethink that frontline defense where it's an AI looking for those things and actively block it. The other thing is how slow the human brain functions and reacts to this, right? We're super slow. So we're using dashboards to see what's going on. We're waiting for red lights to turn on because there's a problem. Think of that, 17,000 hits in a 2-day span. There's no way a dashboard could update to tell a human there's a problem. We're already 6 miles behind where that thing is at. So we have to get more proactive and shore up. Now, the other thing is I think we got some time, but 80 to 90% of the attacks that are going to happen, we just need to go back to the basics of security, right? Make sure people are following the rules that they're supposed to. The protections for like business email compromise, 2MFA, right? That's going to help with 80 to 90% of the hacks that are happening right now. It's that other 10% we have to start to get prepped for, where we have better tools, more responsive, more active, not going back to that weekly scan or that monthly scan. It's got to be like almost to the minute, to the second. And I know that's kind of a long-winded tangent, but those are kind of the two things I see from that.
Now, you do a lot more of this stuff than we do because of the compliance, aspects that you're doing on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But based on like a lot of the pen tests that are available that we use, it's usually checking against known issues that has already been identified.
Yeah.
17,000 hits. That means it's not even checking against anything. It's throwing crap against the wall and seeing what sticks.
It's just seeing how it comes back and making minor adjustments, but it can do it so fast.
Yeah. So pen tests now have to adjust to a similar model without guardrails, and hitting a firewall 17,000 times in 2 days, you're really affecting the network. So we have to literally do this and say we're gonna just let it loose, and it could not destroy, but it could really slow down the company significantly. I don't know about you, but I don't know too many companies that really want to do this on a regular basis.
I mean, well, the first thing, the one thing that you hit on, it was the frameworks, right? And I know we talked about frameworks in the past, and you're right. There are frameworks. Like you have the MITRE ATT&CK framework that I think this essentially is still viable, but it's going to need to change and need to be updated because it now needs to go from a human-based attacks and software driven from a human to also include artificial intelligence and the different ways that it may attack and how to potentially protect from that. So I think that framework is going to change. That's going to get updated. We'll probably see firewalls change drastically in the near future to where maybe there's active AI, but that's going to have guardrails because nobody's going to deploy an AI on a firewall to protect the front line that doesn't have guardrails. Like you're going to have to connect it to an API unless you choose to run an AI directly inside your business. And we're talking tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment. It's like, how do you compete with that?
It's nobody, like, not small to medium sized businesses are not going to want to do this or come anywhere near it.
No.
So I don't know. I mean, what do you guys like? What do you think the solution is? Like, what's going to happen in the next couple months?
I was going to say in the next what, Mario? Because this stuff is developing day by day. It's not even it used to be years. We'd look forward. What do you think the next 3 to 5 years is going to look like? Jesus Christ, what's 3 to 5 minutes going to look like? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't answer the question exactly, but I am going to bring this thing back to something that is in our control, and it's just getting started, right? If you go back to our roots, I mentioned this at the beginning. What this podcast started off being was a way that we could educate business owners on what the basic security measures were that they needed to put in place. We have gotten, that got boring fast. AI got exciting. We're on this AI tangent, which is becoming reality. I get it. But we have to still focus on security basics somewhere. And I'm going to give you a way bigger problem than these, what today are fringe cases. Like, this is happening to AI development firms. This is not yet happening to individual companies. But the biggest problem that I see right now in business is just what we've said 100 times. Hey, Mr. Business Owner, Mrs. Business Owner, what does your security posture look like? And the answer almost always is what? Pop quiz number 2 of the day.
I don't know.
Sometimes if they're being honest, but they're not. So when they're not being honest, what's their answer?
Oh, it's fine. It's great.
Yeah.
And how do they know? My IT guys got us covered.
Yeah. Famous last words.
Right. Like every time that's what I hear. And it was so frustrating. So we start the podcast and we start talking about these are the basics. This is what you're going to measure against. But honestly, what business owner goes, listens to a technology based podcast? If you're not a technology type brain or personality, then that's boring. And like, God bless you. You do listen to this, Mrs. Business Owner. And what, you're running on the treadmill or you're outside working in the yard or whatever. And what, are you taking notes? And then are you going back to your desk and trying to remember what was said and put it into practice? No. And so like, this is why I said, what I built today is going to answer that one question that nobody else can. Are you actually protected? Are you actually getting what you think you're getting in the world of cybersecurity? And yes, it does change. And Josh, you mentioned how they're going to be modifying frameworks and whatever else. But like, it's one thing to not keep up. It's another altogether to just be doing nothing but writing a check. Because the biggest fraud, the biggest scam, and I hate our industry for this, is that all of us in the industry, because this is what we sell, this is what we market, claim to be cybersecurity experts. Go check them out. Get them to prove it. Ask them, what's my exposure in dollar amount? What's my exposure based on a framework? What's my exposure at all? Ask your IT guy that and see what his answer is. So that is what I built, is a portal to answer that very question. And I did this, so it's not a brand new novel concept. There are portals all over the place where techie type guys will go through, and Josh, I'm sure you have these, right? Where you measure a client against published controls. Yes.
Yeah.
You've got platforms for that.
Yeah.
I've purchased them. I've rented them, whatever we call it. Paid for the
It's
monthly service, which I don't own any of it. I don't own the data. I don't own the software. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I've got in, and living in the tech world, these things are overwhelming. Yeah. And so I just, I wanted something that the average person could use, the average business owner could use to hold their IT team or MSP outsource provider accountable. And then I also wanted something that an MSP itself could use, we can use, to hold ourselves accountable and to keep track of it ourselves, because it's complicated and it's a lot. Antivirus, great. Data backup, great. That's where most of us end. Right? I mean, maybe some other stuff, but like generally speaking, if you really audit an MSP and how they're securing their clients, it ain't much, it ain't great. And so this portal is something that will allow us individually, hopefully our industry can get better And this is free to use for everybody. If you're an MSP, you can use it for free. If you're just a random business, you want to use this to keep your guys accountable. If you want to use it in-house and actually self-implement, great. You can do that too. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and let's see if I can. I want to shrink this down enough so that it's visible, but not in mobile format. There we go.
While you're doing that, I think we're getting to a point where we need to ask each other or ask our clients or ourselves, what happens? Assume we got breached. What is Plan B? I think we've, now we still continue as much as possible to be preventative, but with what we've discovered within the last 24 hours, we have to figure out what is Plan B in the event of a breach. And
are you talking about an incident response plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your incident response plan plus your tabletop exercises you need to be doing.
That's going to be in here. So here's how the portal works. I'm at this screen. You're going to go in and create an account. I'm already logged in, so it's not going to show it. But as soon as you get your account created, it's going to walk you through setting up your particular company. And I'm going to tell you why. This is important. You can skip it. There is an option down at the bottom. You can just say, skip this. Use your defaults. Fine. But you want to set this up and you want to be as honest as possible. Company name. This is a fictitious company. I'm not giving away anybody's private information. Silver Ridge Family Dental and Orthodontics. Industry, healthcare.
Oh, it sounds so official.
I know, right? Listen, don't ask me where I got the information, because yes, I used AI to generate it. But I want it to be accurate, believable, within actual constraints, not me just making up random actual bullshit, because this is intellectually something bullshit. I don't know. But this fake company has 42 employees. Their revenue is about 6 million, but this isn't asking for exact dollar amounts. It's just what range are you in, because we're going to calculate your financial exposure. How many user accounts are you protecting? How many devices do you have between workstations, iPads? In healthcare, you got a lot of iPads running around there with very important information or access to that information. Cell phones that are running all over the globe, and people lose them, they get stolen, whatever. How many physical locations? This place has 4. They have an MSP, an outside IT company, handling their security. Do they handle sensitive customer data? Yes. In healthcare, you do. How sensitive? It's very sensitive. Are you regulated? Yes. HIPAA, PCI if you're taking credit card payments and storing them in-house in any way. Do you have cyber insurance? This company has insurance, but it's 3 years old. Their insurance agent sent over a spreadsheet. Their IT guy filled it out, and he doesn't want to rat on himself, so he filled it out, gave himself a glowing review. Oh yeah.
You mean everybody has 2MFA turned on?
Yeah, exactly. And data backups were tested recently. Sure. What would an average hour of downtime cost this organization? Again, AI generated because I want it to be something smarter than me. I don't know. AI says $3,200 an hour across 4 locations with this many employees who can no longer work, but you still have to pay them. Sounds reasonable. Average transactions about $450 probably between insurance, billing, and credit card transactions. And then how confident, and this is a good one, how confident are you in your current security? Now, nobody's watching you answer this question. And I know if I ask you, you're going to feel threatened and you're going to say, oh, we're fine. My guy's got it handled. Sure. But really, how confident are you? And could you prove it? Could you back it up? You got a question there, Josh?
Yeah, actually, before you move away from that, we run into this when we're talking to people and we're trying to get in the sales door, right? What's the typical answer everybody says? I have a guy and we love him. Whether they love him or
been
they
doing
don't.
business with him for 20 years.
Yeah, been doing business for 20 years. And if you look under the hood, it is what it was 20 years ago, and nothing's changed since then. It's wide open. There's nothing protecting it. And this is why you want to be very truthful. Really sit back and think. Do you have all the information that is tangible, or do you just have a body that says, we're good, you got it, our IT has it, or whatever it is? Because I think it's that innate fear that if they realize that it's bad, they're gonna have to make a change, and that change is what freaks them out the most. But
I'm going to tell you right now, the last several clients that I have brought on have had zero data backup in place. And I don't mean like all their stuff's on SharePoint, so they're not worried about it. I mean local servers running very critical infrastructure and, containing very critical data, no backup, no antivirus, no consistent antivirus across the board, no monitoring, nothing.
That's considered uninsurable by today's standards.
Yeah, if you're being honest. But again, none of this stuff is audited. It's all self-reported. And usually it's reported by somebody who you're writing a check to, the IT guy. The IT guy's not going to say, oh, hell no, we're not doing any of that stuff. They're going to give themselves a glowing review. They're grading their own homework, guys. Your IT guy is grading his own homework when he's telling you he's doing a great job. Of course he's doing a great job. He's cashing your check. So how confident are you really? Be honest with yourself on this one. We saved the profile. It runs a calculation, which is already run, so it's not going to do it now. I wonder if back to the dashboard. Here we go. Let's see the math. All right. So this is the math. And by the way, we're going to brag about old Adriel Desaltels. I don't remember how to say his name. I'm sorry, Adriel. Back on episode 60. Do you guys remember this? He's the only one that came on the show and gave an ROI on cybersecurity. And so we took the number, the 4.8 million, that's an average breach. And then we start doing math on your organization. That's why we need these numbers. Your company size at this many employees, 42 employees, you're smaller than the sample set, the 4.8 million. So we're bringing it down, multiply by 0.18, brings it way down. But you're in a sensitive industry. You're dealing with healthcare records. So we're going to bump you back up by 1.6. You're regulated, 1.5. Is an outage expensive? Yes, it is. This stuff goes back up. So now you're back up almost where we started, actually above it. $5.4 million is the calculated. Yes, these are estimates. But these are estimates that are intelligent. Like they're based on your company data. So please fill that out. And now you can see your actual exposure. Does anybody here, we're all in this industry. Does that look outrageous? If a company of this size was breached, could it potentially cost them $5.4 million?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually they would close the doors.
Correct. Yeah. So that's the terrible news. We have $5.4 million on the line. And I mean, like we all know this. If you've built a business, it's everything to you. It's your business. It's your livelihood. It's your baby. It's everything. And like you said, Josh, the real risk is that it goes away. The real risk isn't that you lose $5.4 million. The real risk is that you lose your company, you lose your retirement, your employees lose their paychecks, patients, your clientele, whatever it is, they lose their identities. They potentially lose their money. I mean, this is just catastrophic. So now, what are we going to do about it? We're going to come back up here to our dashboard. And this is the feature that I like the most because, guys, we did 12 episodes on the basics. Do you remember that? And we got to the end and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is hardly basic. This is a lot. And me, the way my brain works, I'm assuming that somebody else out there feels the same way. If you tell me, Justin, you've got to do all these things to be secure, I'm just going to go, fuck, I don't have time for that. And I'm going to put it aside, right? So what this dashboard does, my very favorite feature is right here. Recommended next step, one thing. It's like forget everything else and do this one thing. Set up automatic backups. If you've got them, that's fine. Verify them. All right. So we're going to start it, hit that button, and you come in here and it tells you how to do it. It gives you the episode where we talked about. You can click play. I don't know if that's going to come through on here. I guess I probably can't hear that. You can go back and listen if you want, but you don't have to. It tells you how long it's going to take. Yes, I know that the display here is a little bit skewed. It's a little bit hard. Who's responsible for it right now? The owner, but you can change that step by step. This is super important. And I'm not going to get into all of these, but I want to say this real quick. List what would hurt to lose. Go through all of your systems as a business. How do you get your clients or patients? How do you charge them? How do you serve? Like everything that you do, every business process you have, go through and look at where that data is stored. That becomes part of your backup plan. Josh, did you have a question?
Yeah, just you actually have a really good point right here. And it's who owns this process or this step, right? And a lot of people will go to the IT guy. Hey, I'm putting it on the IT guy. The IT guy owns it. What most businesses don't realize, and even compliance, non-compliance, a lot of this is the business owner or upper management's control. They're the ones who dictate down to IT. They're the ones who say, this is how we operate. This is how we're going to protect ourselves. And yeah, we might deploy security tools, or we might work with a particular framework, but really it's the owners, it's upper management that helps make these decisions. And there's a lot of stuff that they put on IT because it's easy to deflect and say, oh, my IT guy is doing that. If they would just realize that they own way more in this aspect than the IT guy. Like, a lot of this stuff falls on their shoulders. And honestly, like, there's a new law, and it's in California right now, but they're already talking about it leaving California, is the business owners are now going to be held liable. And right now it's only on businesses that are 50 million and above, but every year that number shrinks down to us smaller businesses. But the liability of a cybersecurity audit and their policy falls on the business owner, because they're required to read it, they're required to accept it, and they sign off that I read it, I understood it, and if there was any changes, we as a business made those changes or didn't, and why, and that puts the liability onto the owner, kind of changing the liability threatscape, where a lot of it just like everybody just automatically piles it on the shoulders of the IT guy. And I think it's going to start to balance out rules and responsibilities, to where business owners are going to be like, no, I said everybody has to have 2MFA. You need to show me, because at the end of the day, I'm losing my house, I'm losing my car, I'm losing my livelihood, because I'm now being held accountable tightly. So I'm going to hold my IT guy and the rest of my staff accountable more tightly. And this proves a really good point. And I know I talked about it, went on a little bit of a tangent, but this is a good aspect to look at.
Yeah. And again, that this tells you how to do it. And I'm going to bring this back to, like, you don't have a data backup and you're done. Find every place your data lives and make sure it's backed up and tested and reported on. And once you have that, and this is the key thing, is right here, the evidence. It's optional. It's not required to sign these off, because, as you put it, Josh, ultimately the business owner, the CEO, the executives are the ones with their necks on the line. No matter if there's a law or not, it doesn't matter. You're right. It's good that I think it's good that they're legislating this to some extent. Because they won't legislate the IT companies for some stupid reason. But whatever, they're going after the business owners. I think it is too. But, like, ultimately, if something happens, the people at the top they're the ones that are ultimately responsible, no matter what. So get your evidence.
The thing is too, like, and I'm sure you guys have seen it. I've gone into the places that it will say my IT, we've known him for 20 years. He picks up his phone every time we call him and stuff like that. And then when you look and when you really dissect what he did, it's like 20 years ago he wrote a script that copies data from this server to your old server that's sitting right on the same rack right next to it. And it's like just doing a copy, once a day. Or it's
powered off and it's not even doing a copy, and everybody thinks it is.
Or that script was written to write to a server that was deprecated or removed 3 years ago.
And even if it is copying it daily or hourly, even, the problem is, all that really protects you from is if the original server were just to blow up and die. Yes, you have your data there. If somebody deletes something, you have your data there, which helps to a point, but it's not going to protect you against hackers, even amateur hackers, let alone advanced AI, because you don't think if they got all the way in and saw server 1 that they'll see this scheduled batch file that runs to the server sitting right next to it. They're going to know. They're going to know more about it than any of us will know, and they'll know quicker because they're using AI to figure it all out, and they're gonna blow that one up just as much, just as quick. I mean,
so think about this one too, Mario. A sprinkler could take out that company.
Exactly. Yeah.
A sprinkler, a fire sprinkler, or a flood, but like as simple as a fire sprinkler or a pipe bursting, because your data is right next to its originality or its original location. Done.
Or stuff you don't think about, like an AC unit that gathers all the condensation and then something breaks and dumps it all over your server rack, because every IT closet has to have AC, right? Because of the overheat if they don't. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
Well, and I don't know if anybody's ever paid for hard drive restores when the when the hard drives are damaged.
Pricey.
When you're in a RAID configuration where you have multiple disks storing the same data so that you have redundancy and you have local backup in that sense, right? It's not $1,000 to recover. It's $1,000 to look at it, and it's $15,000 to recover. And then there's no guarantees.
Right.
That anything is recoverable, but you still paid the $15,000.
And you quick shout out to drivesavers.com. If
hey, I wasn't going to say anything, but yeah, good job, Drivesavers.
They will do it for free. They will analyze it for free, and they will give you at least their assumption of what they'll be able to do for the money. I love that company, so I will give them a free shout out, but I'm going to go after them now for $100 for the giveaway.
Hey, there you go. I like it.
Anyways, so one of the things now, this portal is free, 100%. Anybody can use it. But what my clients get, what my paying clients get, is automated evidence where it can be automated. So in the data backup right here, I'm actually going to go, through APIs and MCP servers and all this other AI technical horseshit. We're going to start pulling that information right in here to this dashboard. So it's not about, 6 months ago, my IT guy said he did the backup restore, and that's an example of what you might put in here. Notes about what you did to verify this. My IT guy said, right? Okay, that's something. It's better. At least you can document that you had a conversation. But the next step is to upload a file of evidence. And then where we're taking it for our paying clients is we will automate this and it will be auditable. Josh, what are you laughing at?
If somebody puts in my IT guy said, you should the moment they hit submit, it should be a big giant no, start over.
No, I'm just going to have it like the whole screen goes red and like it just pixelates and then goes away. Like you're too dumb to have a company. Sorry. I won't do that. That's rude. That was so rude. Okay. I'm going to try to speed this up because I'm going kind of slow here. But this is a key point here is the evidence, gathering the evidence, being able to back up that you've done this. You can mark it as complete once you're satisfied. If you have a meeting later, you've got to schedule this. You can schedule it for later. Need help. If you want one of us to look at this with you, for you, hit that button. It drops down a contact form. How urgent is it? Anything we should know, send a help request, right? So all this is built into here, not applicable. You might be able to just genuinely say, this doesn't apply to me. That's still better than not looking at it. So in this case, I'm going to mark it complete because my IT guy said, and it doesn't blow up like it should, but I'm just going to show you what happens next because I built this for the brain and maybe it's just me. But I did one thing and two important things happen here. Estimated risk reduced, $500,000, like one little thing on a $6 million exposure or 5 point whatever it was. Backup is a huge part of that. So we've just reduced our risk by $500,000. And then the other thing is it tells us this is the very next thing you need to do. The most important thing you can do next, set up MFA. Hit that, and it's going to walk us through how to set up your two-factor authentication. We want to mark that one complete. Once again, we've reduced our risk by $400,000. And the point of this is to show you how simple it is to do a few things to reduce your exposure very quickly. Now, I'm not going to walk through all of these. There's 20 of them, and this is just what we talked about on our podcast. Then you've got frameworks, you've got HIPAA, you've got PCI, you've got CMMC, you've got NIST. All that stuff can be added on here. I'm not going over that today, but I will say, go back to the dashboard. These things start filling out, by the way. Each little bubble here is a episode of UnHacked. So we hit something from episode 1, something from episode 3. We've reduced our risk by over $1 million. We still have 4.3 on the line. We aren't done yet, guys. And then the very next thing we need to do, again, right here. So that's what I've built. That's what I love. I'm going to take you really quick to the roadmap. I'm going to show you a couple things here, and then we're going to move on. This is the entire journey in detail instead of just the little graph across the top that's loading 3 minutes remaining. Remember those days. This is episode, the first episode we did, governance frameworks, stage 1, that's what we're calling it. And it shows you the 3 controls that were part of that episode. Go in here to stage 2, which was just the next episode we recorded, and the 3 things we talked about there. Stage 3, we can come down here. So it's a lot, but we're taking it step at a time. And then one thing that I really like about this, you can just go through it the way it is. But let's say you're going to get serious, like God forbid, we're going to look at this stuff and actually do something about it. And I'm going to commit 5 hours a week. Let's see how long this whole thing's going to take me. These are estimates, of course, and we just auto schedule that. And now we have our entire POAM. Josh, you'll know that term, plan of action with milestones.
Yep.
This is defensible to an extent, right? Like when you can say, hey, we know what our exposure is and we have a plan and this is what our plan looks like, and you act on it. Like you can't just write the plan and not do anything about it. This holds up in court. When I talk about avoiding lawsuits, this is your ticket. And that goes back to Joe Brunsman, our famous insurance guy who came on.
That guy.
I know, it was brilliant. Best thing I ever learned on this show, honestly. So that just auto schedule it. Now you've got work to do, and it will break it apart into like what you can realistically do in 5 hours per week. So by the end of this week, July 24th, we're recording on the 23rd. I know it doesn't publish till next week, but whatever. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things to do. I should be able to do that in about 5 hours. Do that religiously. We'll be through the whole thing by the middle or end of August. Right? That's it, guys.
Can you have it where this person can allocate like an hour a day?
Mm-hmm.
Because it looks like
that's what this is, 5 hours a week.
Yeah, but if you go up, I think one of them said like it was like all 5 in one day.
No, okay, good point. This is weekend. So this does break it up into weeks because I'm not going to say do this Monday, do this Wednesday, do this Tuesday.
Okay.
It's just by week. By the end of July 24th, and I'm starting this a day before the week ends. So I got a lot of work to do, or else I should just do this on Monday. Set the schedule on Monday. But it's saying by the end of, and let's move forward a week so it's more realistic. By the end of the week ending July 31st, these are all Fridays.
Okay, they're all due by then.
I've got 5 days, an hour a day to run through these. And let's do a little fact check. If I go in here, it better tell me it should take an hour to do it. It does. Yep. Good. Listen, I didn't know. I was making sure that was set up right. So, anyway, so you've got your dashboard, which is just your exposure overall. And you've got your schedule here. You've got the roadmap, which breaks it all down. I like the scheduled part of this. Like this is what you should be doing and when. We can add frameworks. My podcast items, that's a whole separate thing, but like my business. Okay. When you're out here and you're looking at like episode 96 and you'd say, these are the key takeaways, like secure customer and business data by choosing compliance focused vendors and running periodic leakage reviews. Like, oh, that sounds great. I'm going to do that. And so I hit add to my roadmap. Then when I come back in here, and it shows up under my podcast item. So you can actually build a list of things that you've heard on the podcast, again, without having to sit and listen and take notes and then remember it. So that's just kind of a side feature that I put on here. Last thing I'm going to show you, then we'll discuss, then we're going to wrap up because this is going long, guys. I apologize. The value report. I'm kind of proud of this one as well. This will be emailed on a monthly basis unless you turn it off, which you can do. That's fine if you don't want the emails. Either way, you still have it here. It's going to show you your monthly snapshot. This month, you did 2 out of 20 safeguards. You're 10% done. You reduced your exposure by $1 million. Like, good job. Seriously. A link to go to your portal, an update on what the last 4 episodes of the podcast were. This will get emailed once a month, as long as you're actively using the portal. Guys, thoughts, questions, comments, concerns?
I love it. I just want to kind of emphasize to the business owners out there, it is okay when you're going through this stuff to mark it as like it's not there or unsure, because then it gives you like items that you need to go through and either sit with your IT guy and review it or work on it with your IT company and make sure that those things are in place. Like, for example, MFA. If you're not sure it's there, don't mark it complete.
Right.
Until you've verified 100%. This stuff should not be marked complete until you're 100% verified. No guessing. you have to verify it because you're just cheating yourself. Really, you're cheating yourself. You're cheating your company. So verify before you mark complete.
And add the evidence right here in the portal, because then you can go back and you can see it. You can prove that it's done. So, Josh, you got any thoughts, comments?
I like it too. I think it's great. It's a good idea. It really shows people, as long as you're honest with yourself and where the health of your business is at, use it this way, because this becomes defensible versus saying my IT guy has it.
Yeah.
It's just like when you fill out all the questionnaires for an insurance form, right? It has to be defensible. Just because you said it does not make it defensible after a hack, and you have to go back to the insurance company and put in a claim, because they're going to look at every possibility of denying your claim and seeing where they can keep the money. And it's like, if you're being honest with yourself, why pay the premium to the insurance company if you're not being honest? Because you're just paying a premium for a fictitious shield. It doesn't even exist, because you already lied to start with. And I think this is a good way to look at it in a very personal matter, where nobody's looking over your shoulder. You can be very honest with yourself and how you feel about this. You don't have to share. You don't even have to share it with anybody. You don't. Just go through this exercise and be like, I am where I think I'm supposed to be at, or in most cases,
or I'm writing a check for $5,000 a month. My IT guy's got it covered, but when I pull all this up, it's all red.
Yeah.
And my exposure is $4.3 million because all they've done is data backup and MFA.
If that.
And they say it's great. So like that is where this shines. That is the tool that I want to get every business owner into everybody's hands. It's why it's free. Hold yourself and whoever you've delegated this to, hold everybody accountable, because it's too late once you get breached. When we started doing this, it's like we can prevent 97% of breaches are preventable, but you can never get unhacked. That's where the title of the podcast comes from.
Right. Another thing I want to say is it's going to be odd, because nobody likes to sit in audits except for IRS agents, right?
Right.
Nobody likes to sit in audits, but I think as IT guys, like, we all need to sit in audits. Matter of fact, I've been in an audit for the last 2.5-3 days, and I'm to the point that I like to sit in the audits, because we've done the work, so that when our client looks at us and they're like, "Hey, how are you protecting our data?" and I can just be like, "Here you go, boom, 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 boom," because I know I'm going to sit in that audit every year.
And Josh, with this portal, you delegate access to the company owner. So it's not even that anybody has to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. And I think people should either self-audit or have somebody come in and audit, especially as IT guys.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't sat through an audit, sit through one. See what happens when you're sitting there under the hot seat and you're stammering because you said we had it and there's no backups. Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's not a great feeling. It's just not. So you want to do everything in your power so that when somebody asks you, you can confidently say yes and feel great about it.
And yes to audits, 100%. I agree with you. Also, because I want to add to that, not take away from it. This is for me. I want to be able to sleep at night because, Josh, I personally am responsible for the data backups of all of my clients. Yep. And for me to go and review every single data backup is tedious. For me to trust another technician in my company to do that is uncomfortable. And so this portal, why I have the integrations built into it, at least for my clients, is honestly so I can sleep. If I did have to sit through an audit, or if I had to sit through a painful conversation with a client, I can just say, "Hey, here it is, and here's the evidence," and I don't even have to go looking for it. It's right there. It's built into the system.
No, absolutely.
That's the biggest annoying thing about audits is that, gathering the information, and
we're pre-gathering all of it. The audit is just like, here it is.
Yeah, but I'd rather pre-gather it now than have somebody walk in and be like, in 24
Absolutely.
hours, we need to see X, Y, and Z.
Right. 100%. Yep.
I think it's great, man. It's a good product. People should jump in and take a look at it. And if they need help, obviously through the portal, they can raise their hand and say, "I need a hand." a couple hours, somebody come in, give me a little bit of pointers or lead me through this. And if it turns into a bigger commit where somebody wants to have a full security audit, pen test, vulnerability scan, whatever it is to help them sleep better at night. I mean, maybe we should just be MSPs who are here to help people sleep better at night. Just leave it at that, right?
Hey, that's my line, guys.
That's Mario's line.
Everybody should just end with that today.
I'll still keep fighting the Russian hackers. I used Russians again.
The AI hackers now. And,
like I said, though, next week we're bringing back our guest, Craig Taylor. I had to look for his name. Sorry, Craig, I forgot your name. And that's going to be another integration that I pull in as the security awareness training, because that's one of the things that in almost every framework is a requirement. And that you have it, that you paid, again, you're writing a check for security awareness training. Great. Can you prove that people are taking it? Can you prove that it's doing any good at all? And that was Craig's point when we interviewed him, is like a lot of the awareness training actually lowers people's resilience to breaches.
I've heard that a lot.
That sucks. So like, I don't even remember, he did all the studying and figured out how to do it so that it actually helps. He'll be back. He'll have to defend that next week.
Nice.
Guys, I think I've said way more than I needed to. I'm out of breath. I'm long-winded as it is. What else do you got for today? Otherwise, we're gonna wrap this thing up and take a break. Mario,
you got anything?
The one thing that sticks to my mind, and I was gonna say it earlier when we were talking about it, is you'll be surprised how many people we still see this, and I thought this technology was long gone. But if you're still backing up and taking tapes with you home every day or once a week, please stop.
Yeah,
it doesn't work, and you're gonna discover at the worst possible time that it doesn't work and you haven't verified it. Please stop. Have it go to a cloud, a secure portal, nothing built in or nothing built in house. I mean, have it go to a secure portal that it will pass all compliance, send you verification, send you reports that you can upload into the platform, because these things don't give you the reports. They don't do the tests that you need. Use a real backup system. Again, you saw backups, just backups reduced it by $1 million. It's one of 20, but it's probably the biggest one.
Yeah. Josh, any final thoughts?
No, that's a great point. No tapes. Like, get away from them. I mean, one good magnetic hit, done. It takes forever to restore that data. How long can you actually be down before you have to get back to work? Those are super important things to think about, because I've seen a tape read for 2 days, and it took an additional day and a half to recover. If it had been a true emergency, right off the bat, that company was done for 3 days. This wasn't. It was just a retrieval of a file. The file was half a gig, and it took 3 to 4 days to get it. Okay. And so that really slows down the time. Right? Yeah. The other thing is don't freak out and go trying to find all these different solutions to fill these gaps. Start with basic fixes. Have a backup. That's a basic
one
fix.
Thing. Yep.
Right? One thing, $1 million. Add an AV, right? Add more than an AV, but please add an AV. If you think you don't need antivirus, like this is a very long conversation, right? You need to have solutions like that to start to protect you, and those are basic solutions. I mean, I think Defender's free on most computers, right? Like, yeah. Basic
and doing
AV.
A good job. Like, I keep reading about it, and it's just like I keep wanting them to not be doing a great job to justify the cost of some of these other solutions. Defender's doing all right.
Yeah.
You need a SOC behind it, so there's that. But God, it's a stupid one to not have set up.
Yeah, but the thing is with Defender, what I don't like about Defender is, depending on how the computer's set up and stuff like that, the end user can disable it.
Yeah, that's a huge problem right there. You can knock yourself out of compliance if you just allow them to be able to, disable AV.
Yeah. So you need something, or you need, even if you're using Defender, there's systems out there that kind of prevent end users from disabling it or using other systems like SentinelOne. Yeah.
Yep.
So there's a lot of things, and we can go on for days about it. But there's Justin, thank you for putting the fundamentals together and help people,
Great tool.
be able to at least be aware of what they need to do to improve.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward. I've got it ready now that I'm gonna start rolling it out to my own clients, and hopefully the community uses it. They do or they don't. It is what it is. But my clients are going to have access to this, and most of those where it can be verified in automation will be. Automation is good. It still needs to be human tested and human readable and all that. But so many of these things we think are in place. I'm picking on IT companies because they say something and they don't do it. But a lot of times we think it's there. We really do. We mean well. We think it's there, and it's not. You go in and audit yourself. Oh, shit, that's a bad day. It's a worse day when somebody else audits you. Anyways. Yeah. All right, guys. No more. You guys got your final thoughts in. I'm going to sign off with this. Well, it's one question. Are you actually protected, or do you just think you are? And your IT guy can't answer that for you. He's grading his own homework. It has to be defensible. So that's my one sentence invitation. If you can't answer that question about your business, go answer it tonight for free. UnHackedMyBusiness.com. That's all I've got. Guys, Josh, Mario, thank you for being here. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. I'm going to get my outro music playing. I just had to say that while I pulled up the right screen. And we're going to take a break for a week. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Thank you.
UnHacked.